speaking of all things Wakanda, ooh, should I save this? I do want to get into Batman. All right, I do want to get into it just a little bit. I might save that for a live. I might save that for a live. Um, I'm gonna talk about it right now. So one friend, was I saw an article saying that Batman, the new one that just came out, grossed X amount of dollars for its opening weekend. And I'm like, yo, that's great, cool, but I think Black Panther 2 is gonna blow that out the water. And I'm not saying that it's gonna be a better movie, right? Because Marvel DC they do movies differently. DC has like the gritty, you know what I'm saying? They got the more gritty type of dark atmosphere for their movies, which is fine. That's great. I think they do that exceptionally well. And then Marvel has this way of doing movies, right? It's not like super dark. It's not super, at least not any of the movies. Like some of the shows, maybe the Punisher and maybe the Moon Knight that's coming up soon. Maybe they might take a real dark turn, if anything. But for the most part, there's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of like, excitement and whatnot. And Black Panther 2 is most likely going to be a tone of like something you can enjoy, something you that's lighter and and gripping and riveting, and just more flamboyant as far as storytelling and direction goes. So but as far as the numbers, listen, man, the main thing is that usually movies that do the most grossing amounts, especially like action movies, they're usually sequels. So Spider-Man, No Way Home is up there. Avengers, Endgame is up there, right? But Black Panther, for it to be its first entry in its series, though, even though Black Panther T'Challa was in Civil War before that, for Black Panther to do the numbers it did, to be on that top, I want to say top 10 or top 20 most grossing films of all time, in the U.S., for it to be as high as it is in that list, compared to like all the other movies that were like sequels to movies that were, it's the first entry, all right, and that's why I'm saying the next film after that, because people know what to expect now. Like that opening weekend, as much hype was around that movie, not everybody was still on that movie. Like how they grossed throughout the span of it being in theaters, that's one thing. But that opening weekend, you know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling like that opening weekend is gonna be nuts. So to all y'all boycotting this movie, cut it. All right, cut it. Okay, this is Wakanda we are talking about. All right, yes, we do need T'Challa. We do need to have a T'Challa. We do need to have our Black King in here, repping, being the scientific prowess that he is, running the country, being the total badass that he is. We definitely need that 100%. Yes. If we don't get it for this movie, that's one thing, okay? But we still have to support the people who are putting their work in to make this film happen, and still have to keep that momentum. All right, that's a big task, and I fully support that. All right. Of course, Disney's got to do right by representing everybody the right way, okay? Whether it is a fictional character or a person who is on our side of existence, has to be represented the proper way. But I think that film is gonna do astrological numbers. Putting that down on wax right now. So moving on. Speaking of everything Wakanda, the big news here, right here, it is that we are launching a campaign of sorts, right? And that is to bring more attention to Wakanda, and for Marvel and Disney to really look at Wakanda as what it is and what it can be, and like how it can really hit home for the people of the African diaspora. When it comes to making movies, you can only do so much. When it comes to making TV shows, you can only do so much as far as expressing certain characters, certain atmospheres, certain cultures, right? But there are so many characters in Wakanda as a mythos right now. Okay, so not this just T'Challa, but all the expanding characters, especially with the Five Galaxy expansion with the Intergalactic Empire, that left a lot of room for like more stories to be told. All right, again, we've talked about this before in the Wakanda Alliance, but man, listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 galaxies. That is Star Wars times 5. You see what I'm saying? So there, and think about all the stories that Star Wars has, all the side characters. It's not just about the Jedi. It's not just about Luke. It's about all the other characters. They got Boba Fett. They got, all of this. And even though this has happened over the course of 30 plus years, we still have to acknowledge that, listen, they Marvel has the capabilities to really dive into the stories of different characters, and sometimes characters are touch and go. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they go away. They might die, they might get, put in the background somehow, like Hunter, who I think is coming back for the current series, but we'll talk about that later. um but yeah, so I think that, or we think that Marvel could really capitalize on, and not capitalize as in monetarily, but really like go into how pivotal these characters can be, and by putting the right people in charge of doing it, right? Having black writers, having black authors, black animators, black engineers, all these people who can be involved in building Wakanda up, whether it is in a comic or a cartoon series or a podcast or even like a social event, right? I think that Marvel could do more social events, kind of like what the Wakanda Alliance program is doing, and like, hire people to hold different workshops and hold different conversations, because when that first Black Panther movie came out, people were coming from both ends, right? They were coming from the hood with their perspective on it. They were coming from scholastic points of view with their perspective on what like Afrofuturism is and what this character means to people, to us, right? So I think that, you know, we should definitely have more of that going on, right? Especially going forward. So that is why we're launching the hashtag Wakandaverse initiative. That's really just saying, yo, use the hashtag Wakandaverse, because that's what we got, right? We have a universe of Wakandan just matter. Just like, we really want it to be done properly. Shuri only got 10 issues for her comic. Black Panther is kind of split between his throne, his intergalactic throne, right? And then, being a chairman of the Avengers. Cool, great, but we've got all these other characters who like we want to see more of them. They introduced a new Warbird who's part Shi'ar, part Jabari. They got a new character named Tosin, who I've talked about and will be cosplaying later this year. And we definitely want to see those stories really like, out there. We need a Black Panther video game too, bro. Like, come on. Like, it's like when you have Black Panther, he's always attached to something else, right? He's always with the Avengers in an Avengers game or in an Avengers show. He doesn't have like a lot of standalone things, and for him to have so much going on in Wakanda, like Wakanda is its own culture. They have their own god, they have their own technology, their own unique geography, their own unique way of living, right? So that's what sets them apart from places like Manhattan, where half of Marvel superheroes are. That sets them apart from a place like Gotham, right? Gotham is like its own thing, right? There's so many like things on Batman. I don't even want to get into it right now, but just think about how much stuff like DC uses for Gotham. Like its villains are even bigger than the heroes sometimes. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Wakanda is its own thing, right? Has its own thing. So yeah, we need like a standalone Black Panther game, like ASAP. It doesn't have to reflect what's going on in the movies. All right, you've got 40 years of Black Panther to work with. Okay, you can do the Christopher Priest run, you can do the Reginald Hudlin run, you can do a bit of Ta-Nehisi Coates, you can mix in different writers, different things that happen in Wakanda, and just like make its own standalone game. The Avengers game, people were very upset with that game, for rightfully so too, because the game itself was just really buggy. But listen, that Black Panther expansion pack was lit. Okay, the outfits, the atmosphere, the art, the characters behind it. Yo, as you're walking through the palace, people salute you, yo. That's real. That like that, I felt that. Like that was awesome. So I really think that there should be more standalone Black Panther projects. So does the rest of the alliance. So we are doing that hashtag Wakandaverse. So get that trending, right? Get that trending, because I mean, we have Recast T'Challa, awesome movement that's going on. Shout out to E-Man as always for spearheading that, and everybody who's using that hashtag and really bringing awareness to this, because people on the other side who are making these films, they don't have the same gauge, right? They're not really in our communities like that to really see how much this character means to us. They might hire a few people from those communities maybe to like do writing, or maybe, I don't know, be the gaffer and handle the tape on the set or something like that. But in the wider scale, in the bigger, broader picture, we just needed to feel that a bit more. So So yeah, so Wakandaverse, that's the hashtag we're using. We're gonna have some imagery to go along with it. We'll have a page on our website outlining what the Wakandaverse is to us and what we think it can be or and should be. You know, as fans, we have a right to exercise how we feel about a piece of media, how we feel about a piece of art, especially if we are the source material, right? And that's the difference again between something like Gotham and something like Wakanda, right? Gotham is like modeled after like Pittsburgh and New York or something like that. And you know, you can kind of, I mean, that's American society, right? So it's kind of easy to take from that because it's so many examples of it. Like you're not taking from a specific culture or specific cultures, right? So that's why Wakanda has to be handled a bit differently, and we feel that and we understand that, and we think that whoever's in charge of building it or whoever is facilitating the building of it should be aware of that too. All right, so I'll keep talking about this as time goes on. The movie's coming up in November, so I've got plenty of time to talk about it. We're gonna be talking about it at different different places, different times, setting up some conventions, some workshops. We got a lot coming on. We got a lot going on. So we appreciate you listening. Thanks for this update. It was a bit lengthy this time, but that's because I had a lot of great things to say. So I might have to break this down into smaller videos just because. But it's all good. I hope y'all be safe out there. Join us this Saturday again, March 12th, 12 p.m. Our next event is going to be March 26th, also at 12 p.m. Hit the link in our bio, go to the Zoom room. You can join us while we're live, while we're rolling, or just have it marked down in your calendar. So when that date comes up, boom, just jump on in. All right. Y'all be safe out there. Wakanda forever. See you soon. Peace.